Perimeter and area. Squares, rectangles, triangles, and more. This is just to remind you of a few things that you know, and then to go over some things you may not know. So perimeter is the distance around the exterior or the outside of a shape. So that's showing you the outside. Area is the space on the interior, the inside of the space, of the shape. So it'll be all colored in. So here are some formulas that you need to know. So you need to write these down. And I'm going to define the letters before we start, okay? So W stands for width. This is a cursive L, which stands for length. If I made it straight up and down, it'd look too much like a 1. B stands for base. H stands for height. And S stands for side. We only use that, well, we use that in a square and in other things too, so never mind. All right, square. You can tell this is a square because this is the indicator for a 90-degree angle, and all 4 sides are the same because they each have the same little tick mark on them. The area can be written 3 different ways. Because the sides are the same, you could say the area is the side times the side, or side squared. But you could also go back to length times width, even though they're the same. Or you could say, well, that's the same as the base times height, because the bottom can be the length or the base, and going up can be the width or the height, and they're the side. So lots of formulas. The perimeter is 4 times the side length, because they're all the same. Or you could say 2 times the length times plus 2 times the width, which is the basic perimeter formula. Rectangle has the 90-degree indicator, but notice the tick marks are not all the same. You have 2 tick marks on the parallel sides here, 1 tick mark on the parallel sides here, which says these 2 sides are the same and these 2 sides are the same, but they're not all the same. Okay, so it's a rectangle. Area, length times width, or base times height. Perimeter, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right, a triangle is 1/2 of a rectangle, or 1/2 of a parallelogram, you know, and if it's an isosceles, it would be 1/2 of a square. But you need to remember that it's 1/2. So the formula for the area is 1/2 times the base times the height. And I don't want you to write BH divided by 2, because that's not the proper formula, even though you would get the same answer. I want you to know in algebra we always write the number first and then the letters alphabetically, so it should be 1/2 base times height. The perimeter, we just add up the sides. So this stands for side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. A parallelogram is just a rectangle that's been tilted over. Okay, so I didn't put the tick marks on anymore, but if it's tilted over, the side measurements are the same and the top and bottom measurements are the same. In this, I've drawn in a 90-degree measure, the little dotted line. That's the height, because when you find the area, the 2 sides that you multiply have to meet at a 90-degree angle, which isn't an issue in a square or a rectangle, but it was also in the triangle. I didn't point that out, I'm sorry, but it's in the parallelogram. So the formula is the base times the height, the base measurement times the height measurement. The perimeter is still 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Oh, I just drew over that B. Well, I'll just erase it. All right, a trapezoid. A trapezoid is different because the top measurement and the bottom measurement, or what we call the base, they are different sizes now. So you can have one that looks like this, which is an isosceles trapezoid. Take an isosceles triangle and cut off the top. Or this is just a regular trapezoid. Okay, but notice there's base 1, base 2, height, base 1, base 2, height. In this trapezoid, the height is at the corner. It's a 90-degree angle. This one, I had to draw it in. So what we want to do is we want to find the average of the bases. So we add them together and divide by 2. Well, you know, dividing by a number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So what the formula says is add the bases together, multiply that by 1/2, and then times it by the height. Do you notice it looks a lot like a triangle formula? Because we're saying that was 1/2 base times height. This 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 is finding the average of the bases. So it's a little bit different, okay? The perimeter, we just add all four sides. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. Here are some examples on finding the area and perimeter. We're going to do a triangle, and this happens to be a right triangle, a parallelogram, and both trapezoids, okay? So this is how you need to write the formulas in here. You cannot just do it in your head. You have to write down the formula, area equals 1/2 base times height. You have to plug in the numbers, area equals 1/2, 6 times 8. And then from here, you could do it in your head, okay? But I'm going to show you the work. 6 times, so what I did was 1/2. I think it's easier to multiply smaller numbers. Sorry, I interrupted myself. So I did 1/2 of 6. I could have done 1/2 of 8, but I did 1/2 of 6 is 3, and then 3 times 8 is 24. And in the area, it's always inches squared, whatever the measurement is squared, okay? Parallelogram formula, area equals base times height, 12 times 7, okay? The height is at a 90-degree angle. This 8 is not part of the height. So it's 12 times 7, which is 84 meters squared. Area of an isosceles trapezoid. Area equals 1/2 times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So it's 1/2, 15 plus 13, those are the different bases, plus 6. 15 plus 13 is 28, okay? So we do what's inside the parentheses. 1/2 of 28 is 14. 14 times 6 is 84 meters squared. Here's a regular trapezoid. This is isosceles, this is regular. But it's the same formula. Area equals 1/2 times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So you bring down your 1/2, 7 plus 5 times the height, 3. 7 plus 5 is 12. Half of that is 6. 6 times 3, 18 centimeters squared. Now let's talk about the perimeters. Perimeter is always easier. Perimeter of a triangle, add the sides. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3, 6 plus 10 plus 8, 24 inches. And it's not inches squared because you're just measuring around. 6 inches plus 10 inches plus 8 inches. Perimeter of a parallelogram, there's 2 12s here. We just don't write the top one in. And there's 2 8s here, the left side and the right side, or the left side and the right side. So it's 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. 2 times 12 plus 2 times 8, 24 plus 16, 40 meters. Trapezoid, isosceles trapezoid, we just add the sides. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. So I went 15 plus 7 plus 13 plus 7. I just start somewhere and go all the way around. So that's 42 meters. Okay. And last but not least, another trapezoid, add the sides. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. 7, this time I went counterclockwise. 7 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3. 7 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3. 19 centimeters. Okay? Now let's do something else. So that should have been all review. Maybe the trapezoid was new, but that should have been all review. What we're really going to do is compound shapes. Compound shapes combine 2 or more shapes into a larger shape. You find the area by separating the large shape into smaller ones, finding the area of each, then adding it all together. All right, so we're going to take our shape, here's our shape, split it up, find the area of those, and add it all together. Perimeter, you just add all the sides. We're not going to find the perimeter in this, we're just finding the area. So here's my shape, okay? So this large shape, we can break that up. So I'm going to draw a little line here, and I'm going to draw a little line here, and I'm going to take this off now. So you can see what I've done. The large shape can be broken into 3 smaller shapes. I drew a dashed line here and a dashed line here. This is shape 1, a rectangle. Shape 2, a trapezoid. Shape 3, a triangle. Okay? And now I'm going to find the area of each shape. So in my rectangle, 17 is the length, 12 is the width. So I say area equals length times width. I've drawn it here. 17 times 12, 204 meters squared. Now I'm going to look at the trapezoid. I see that one base is 11, the other base is 17, and the height is 4. That's the 4, that's for that height. So here's my trapezoid. I've written it out. 11, 17, 4. Area equals 1/2 times the quantity, base 1 plus base 2, times the height. So substitute in your values. 1/2 times 11 plus 17 times 4. 11 and 17 is 28. Half of that is 14. 14 times 4, 56 meters squared. Now I just have part 3, shape 3, the triangle. So here's my triangle. This is 5, this is 12, this is 13. Do I need the 13? No, I don't, because that's only used for perimeter, but I'm going to write it in just so you see all the sides. Area formula, 1/2 base times height. So 1/2, 5 times 12. Now, even though, notice that I switched them around and I put the 12 next to the half, because remember, commutative property, you can change the order in multiplying and adding. And isn't it easier to take half of 12 than half of 5? Always take half of your even number. It makes your life so much simpler. So half of 12 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. So now I have found the area of each of my smaller shapes. I just need to add it together to get the area of the compound shape. So 204 plus 56 plus 30, 290 meters squared is the area of my compound shape. You'll have fun doing these.